Welcome. Today's practice will be done entirely supine. The only prop that we're going to need is a block, and if you don't have that, you're welcome to use a firm pillow or some folded up towels. We'll do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of strengthening, of course some breath work. So let's get started. We'll meet on our backs with the soles of our feet flat on our mats. Arms down by your side for just a moment. And take a moment here to notice. See how your body feels. If there's any tension or tightness that's being held in your shoulders, your hips. If anything feels uncomfortable. Or if perhaps laying down makes you want to take a nap. Notice without judgment. And then we'll take one hand to our belly and one hand to our heart. Get a little bit more comfortable if we need to make any adjustments. And we'll take a deep breath in through our nose and exhale out of our mouth. Feeling your hands rise and fall as we breathe. Deep breath in and out. One more time. And exhale, sigh your breath out. If they're not already, bring your heels for the most part in line with your hips, feet flat on your mats, and bring your hands back down to your sides, palms face down. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, maybe fingertips touch the floor behind you. And exhale, bring them back down to your sides. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring them down. Couple more times. Let your breath guide your movements. There is no rush. This is not a race. One more time. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, bring them back down. This time we'll take one of our legs, straighten out your knee. Inhale, bring your leg up. And exhale, down. You can allow your leg to hover or gently touch your mat. Inhale up. And exhale, down. Now we're not quite looking for a stretch here. We might feel a stretch, but we're really just linking our breath with our movements, getting in touch with our breath here. We'll do one more. Inhale up, exhale down. Go ahead and place your foot on your mat. We'll take our other leg and do the same thing. Inhale up, exhale down. Keep it going. Maybe you find a moment to pause in stillness as you wait for your breath to finish. One more time, inhale up. And exhale, gently bring your foot back to your mat. Now this time, as we inhale, go ahead and roll your spine up to a bridge and inhale, arms up overhead. Wait for your breath to finish, and then exhale, slowly roll your spine down as your arms come down to your sides. Wait for your breath to finish. Inhale up. And exhale down. Go at this at your own pace, warming up our bodies, bringing in movements and breath. Releasing any tension from our jaws, our face. One more time. Exhale, bring it back down. Now this time, take one leg up And we'll just do tiny pulses. So if our leg can be straight, it'll be straight. And we'll gently pulse towards our chest until we find our edge, until we find a stretch, and then we'll bring it back. Little pulses here, finding some dynamic stretching. And breathe as we find these pulses, as we find our stretch. And you might find that the longer we do this, the further our edge goes. Notice how you feel, if there's anything changing or staying the same. One more breath, and then we'll release. And bring up your opposite leg, same thing. Find your edge where you find your stretch, and then gentle pulses. We don't want to go past our edge. And continue breathing as we find these pulses. One more breath in. And exhale, bring it out. We're going to warm up just a little bit more before we get into some strength here. So bring your feet together. Bring your knees out wide and back in. A couple times here. Again, release any tension from your jaw. Allow your face to soften. And then we'll find a place of stillness. Bring your feet out about hips distance. And we'll inhale, shift our hips up to bridge pose. Bring your shoulders away from your ears. Make sure that you have your cervical spine here. Make sure that you can slide your hands underneath. We don't want our chin to our chest, and we don't want to be looking backwards. So make sure there's room there. Find your breath, and then go ahead and lift up your heels, squeeze your calves, and bring them back down. Lift up and down. And see if you can isolate this movement to just your heels. Breathing here. Two more times. And exhale, slowly release one vertebrae at a time. Take a moment, shake out anything. And then we'll meet back in our bridge setup. But this time, bring your heels together so that toes point out. And we'll lift up to bridge, lift up your heels, and this time, bring your knees out and back in. Out and in. Couple times here, see if you can isolate this movement. Keep your hips up. Just a few more. One more. And slowly roll back down. Shake it out. And this time we're going to bring our feet a little bit wider than hips distance. Again, lifting up into our bridge pose. And this time we're going to lift up our heels and bring our knees in towards each other. And then out. Knees in and out. Few rounds here. Making sure that there's space behind our neck still. Relaxing our jaws, our face. Maybe bringing a smile to our face. One more. And slowly roll it back down. Shake it out. Do anything you need to do here. And then we'll come back into a normal bridge pose setup. Inhale, roll up. This time, bring up one leg and see if you can come down and up. Few times here. Breathing. Play around with where your leg is. Maybe it's straight up towards the ceiling, or maybe it's closer towards the floor. One more, and release. Take a moment, and then we'll make our way to the other side. Roll up to bridge, lift your other leg up, and slowly lower your hips, and lift. Few times here. Breathing. Again, play around with where your leg is. Almost there. And exhale, release. Catch your breath, deep breath in and out. Good. We'll take our right ankle, cross it over our left knee. Inhale, lift your hips up high for our bridge pose. Maybe you feel a nice stretch in this hip. Take a few breaths here. Exhale, slowly lower down. And if this is where your stretch is, stay here. Or wrap your arms around your thigh or your shin to deepen your stretch. Reconnect with your breath if you've lost it. Enjoying this nice, juicy hip stretch. One more inhale. Exhale, release. And then we'll take our left ankle to our right knee. Inhale, roll our hips up. Few breaths here in this active stretch. And then exhale, slowly roll down. And we'll make our way to our number 4, finding a stretch in our left hip. One more inhale. Exhale, release back down to your mat. Maybe do a few windshield wipers here from side to side. Find a place of stillness. And we'll clasp our hands together. Turn your palms out. Press them up towards the ceiling. So our palms are directly on top of our chest. Think about stacking them on top of each other. As we inhale, we're going to lift our hips up for bridge. Elbows bend, hands come to chest. And then exhale, lower your hips down, reach your palms up. You're going to feel this nice spreading of our shoulder blades. Inhale, lift your hips up, hands come to chest. Exhale, hips down, palms up. Maybe take a few extra breaths here. Inhale, hips up, hands down. Exhale, reverse. Take a few rounds using your own breath. Releasing any tension in your shoulders. We'll do one more round. And release. Shake it out, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Turn your head from side to side. And we'll meet back in center. Lift one leg up and find your stretch here. This time we're going to come into a static hold. Hands can clasp behind your thigh, your calf. Few breaths here. If it feels better, your opposite leg can be straight. Imagining sending your breath to your hamstring. And again, we don't want to go past our edge. We want to find it. And then maybe back off slightly and breathe there. One more inhale. Exhale, release. And we'll switch legs. Find your stretch on this side. Notice if one side feels different than the other. And if the pulses feel better, bring in the movements. Again, releasing any tension from our jaws. Go ahead and release your leg down. We'll cross our right leg over our left, stacking our knees and bring them towards our chest. We're looking for a stretch in the back of the right hip. So maybe hands on top of shins, ankles. Play around until you feel this stretch. And we'll take just a few breaths. Exhale, release. And we'll switch legs. Finding a stretch in the back of your left hip. Play around until you feel your stretch. And then we'll breathe. Go ahead and release your legs. And we'll take our block, lift our hips up, and place your block at the base of your spine, so on your sacrum, the top of your pelvis. It should not be digging into your spine. Make sure that you feel stable here. We're going to find a stretch in the top of our thigh. So taking one of your feet back until maybe you can grab your ankle, until it feels good for you, until you feel that stretch. Just a few breaths. And then we'll switch legs. Go ahead and release. And yogi's choice here, we can stay in the supported supine bridge. If it feels good, you can lengthen one leg, maybe the other leg, or perhaps find a butterfly pose. We'll be here for about 5 breaths. Bring your feet back to your mat if they're not already. Inhale, lift your hips just a bit higher, and exhale, lower slowly down. Take one knee into your chest, and the other leg straightens. And we'll switch legs. Take a few moments here before Shavasana to see what might feel good for you. Maybe we hug both knees in and gently rock. Maybe a twist would feel good for you, or a happy baby pose. Whatever your body needs. And then we'll come to find our Shavasana, and I'm going to offer a constructive rest here. So feet as wide as your mat, knees fall in towards each other. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Feeling your hands connect with your breath. Continue to feel and connect with your breath. And I'll bring you out shortly. Begin to deepen your breath. Rock your head from side to side. Wiggle fingers and toes. Reach your arms up overhead. Feet long, stretch as if it was your first stretch of the day. Bring your knees to your chest. Great big hug. And maybe rock forward and back a few times until we're all the way up in a seat. Inhale, reach our arms up overhead. Palms touch. Exhale to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. I hope you enjoyed. Namaste.